And welcome to that Atlanta show. Not this Atlanta show, not any other Atlanta show, that Atlanta sports show. I'm your host, Jeremy, the Impact York. I want to welcome you guys in for people who are new to the show. This is Impact Media's weekly show, all about the Five Stripes and the Falcon Nation, those dirty birds. How are you? Happy Ash Wednesday. For people who don't know, look it up. It's you guys will get it. And I got a smart audience. I know most of you guys probably know what this is. If you don't look it up, feel free to ask us in the question section down below here. And also, happy Valentine's Day. And don't want to make it sad. So, whether you had a Valentine today or not, let us be your Valentine. Let me be your Valentine. I'll be your Valentine because we definitely love and appreciate each and every one of you who tune into this show each and every week. We absolutely appreciate it. No idea what's going on with the lights right now. I see all the different things. I actually see your comments already coming up. I don't know. Something's weird's going on with the lights. Um, Lots of stuff we're going to get into. Once again, it's All Black Temples Week here on the show. As I said, I got this shirt from the band through a contest they had. They did not give it to me so I would advertise, and they did not give it to me for any other reason. I won the contest. I'd just like to make that clear. I will happily wear your stuff. If you send me your stuff, I will wear it. And that's not a ploy to get free stuff. That's just saying that if you want to sponsor the show or you want any kind of shout outs, let me know. Because you can always leave us a question, comment, suggestion, rating, and review. You can even subscribe to this show. I think I'm not sure where it is on YouTube. I'll have to look for it again. But subscribe to the show. Hit the little bell. That way you know each and every time a show drops here on Impact_Media_channel. If you want to, if you want to check out our hockey coverage, that is Board Check 99 is the YouTube channel for that. Other than that, we have our show here about United and the Falcons. We have our show Strong Style, which is about MMA and pro wrestling. We also have, let's see, I said board checks at that one. Man, we have another show. What was our other show? I think it's just this one. I think it's these three. Yeah, that's our three main shows. Our special show for people who are tuning in this week, expecting to potentially see Daniel Snyder. I gave him the week off. You guys know he's a big 49ers fan. He was okay though. He was at the end of that Super Bowl game. He was in a good place. He was in a good place, but I told him that I would give him a week to gather his thoughts, and all kinds of stuff going on at this studio right now. And uh, but Daniel's going to gather his thoughts. We're going to see him next week. I promise you. He's doing good. He's doing good. Um, what a game that was. Since we're talking about the Falcons, I mean we can't. I'm not going to talk. I'm really not going to talk much about the Super Bowl. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Quick thoughts and prayers and everything to the aftermath of what happened at the parade today. It was not on the Chiefs organization or anything like that. Just thoughts and prayers with the people of Kansas City. But congratulations to the Chiefs. I felt like they earned that. Uh, it was a great game. You can say great second half. I say great game. Um, but other than that, let's talk a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go right into the Falcons. We'll finish up with United tonight. So, the Falcons are in the offseason. You guys know that. And as I have done with every friend of mine and every person I've come into contact with that tells me they're NFL team, I congratulate you. Your team is currently in first place. They are. They're currently in first place. Everybody's in first place. Everybody has the same record. Everybody is 0-0. This is when hope springs eternal. Just like we hope spring springs eternal. But everybody's 0-0. Everybody has a chance. right now. We get to see free agency, we get to see the draft, we get to see what these new coaches and staffs, these new GMs, and we get to see, where the cards are going to fall, where the pieces are going to get put on the table, where the chips are. So let's talk a little bit about what the Falcons are looking at this offseason. You guys know, let's get the obvious out of the way. And you know, every week or so we'll come on with some different strategies about this show is going to continue weekly, but we're going to come on and give you maybe a different take on the quarterback situation because we all know the quarterback situation. Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke did not have the most promising seasons. I do think they're talented. I do think they can still play in this league. Don't know if that's going to be for this franchise. So let's look at it from that perspective. And this is a strategy that people have talked about before, and I'm going to talk about it right now. A lot of people, including pretty prestigious writers and media people, and man, bless them, they want Justin Fields here so bad. One even went as far as to suggest that Kyle Pitts be packaged with whatever necessary to get Justin Fields from the Bears. Why wouldn't you get the top pick? Because you're going to have to pay Justin Fields. And also, a lot of people are like, well, he was with an organization, Jeremy. He was with an organization. The Bears were terrible. They stink. They couldn't develop him, and they didn't put a lot of pieces around him. And that offensive line, you can say that about a lot of teams. Offensive line wasn't exceptional for the Falcons. It was pretty good, and you have all the weapons. So I kind of gotta use that argument down here. Maybe Desmond Ritter has not been developed yet. Maybe that's why he's still playing like he's at Cincinnati. Taylor Heineke, under Ron Rivera and others with the Commanders, Heineke had some pretty good starts. I mean, he had 6 or 8 of them there in the past year and a half that were pretty good. Then he came here and was okay. So what's the difference? Are you saying the Commanders are in a better overall situation than the Falcons? I don't think so. I think the Falcons are maybe a level or two above where the Commanders are. The Commanders are going to be good. I'll mention that in a minute if I don't forget. But, well, I'll just go ahead and say it. The Commanders have their head coach, and they were able to bring in Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator. Look out. Sleeper team to win their division? Maybe. Sleeper wildcard team? Maybe. Watch the Commanders. That NFC East is going to be wide open next year for a lot of reasons. Tune into future shows. I'll tell you why. But Commanders, go ahead and pencil them in. Go ahead and pencil them in for me. Just saying. You heard it here first on Valentine's Day. Commanders might be a team to watch. Anyway, I believe actually that Ridder and Heineke were not developed. I think had they been developed a little bit, or a little bit more even, I think they could have done a little better. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to be world beaters. They may be. Who knows? But at the moment, I don't think Justin Fields is your answer. There's a lot of strategies, but I don't think Justin Fields is it. Now, packaging Kyle Pitts as far as moving up in the draft, you're number 8 right now. If you're going to get one of these top quarterbacks, you're probably going to have to move up to at least 5, maybe 4. I don't have the draft order in front of me. 1 or 2 is probably going to be really hard to get, but you could, the 4 or 5 pick, you could say, here's the 8 pick this year. Here's Kyle Pitts, and here's a 3rd round pick. Could be this year, next year, doesn't matter. Maybe that gets it done. Maybe it's got to be a 2nd. Maybe it's got to be 2 firsts and Kyle Pitts. That's ridiculously steep. but you're going to be looking at Caleb Williams, who might be first off the board. Keep hearing conflicting results about him. I would like to see the kid pan out. I'm hearing he might be a little on the soft side. Then I'm hearing that he's just super emotional in a good way and really really cares, and that's what it is, and that's possible. Then you get Drake May, who's coming from Duke, right, or North Carolina, Duke, I think. Drake May, big time pocket passer, can really deliver the football. Okay, that's the second one. But if they go 1-2, and you're the Falcons, even if you have the 3 pick, well, there were two guys. Who are you going to get? What about was it Jaden Daniels? He's the LSU guy. What about that guy? Because of those 3 quarterbacks, the one that fits the weapons and the semi scheme that you have on paper is LSU. That's the LSU guy, Jaden. That's once again. Let's pencil that in. Maybe put a little darker line on it. If they go after him, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, but you're giving up Kyle Pitts for." Okay, well, keep these things in mind. I'm not saying Kyle Pitts is bad. He's not. He's good. But his 5th-year option's coming up, and they have to determine if they're going to pick up that 5th-year option. And based on if they decide to pick up that 5th-year option or not, will have a lot to do with who they want to trade. Because let's just use the Bears. Let's say that the Falcons say, okay, here's the number 8 pick this year. Here's our first rounder next year, which hopefully is in the 20s because you made the playoffs. And here's Kyle Pitts. Give us number 1 pick. And let's say the Bears go, okay. As long as you pick up Kyle Pitts' option, then we'll do that because we want him under control for 2 years because he's going into year 4. But you have to pick it up this early. It's really screwy. And Falcons are like, fine, we can do that. Or maybe they go, well, we don't. What if you back out of this deal and we've already committed to it, and then we're there. It is. Honestly, it's going to be better than negotiating with him. So it's probably a decent idea anyway. But let's also think. Let's say, let's say the same Bears, and you go to the Bears, and hey, here's 2 first-rounders, and here's Kyle Pitts, and they go, did you pick up the 5th-year option? The Falcons say, do you want us to? And they say, no, don't. We're going to negotiate. We're going to give him a chunky contract as soon as he gets here. And you tell him that as soon as he gets here, we're going to do a big extension. He's going to be a Bear for a long time. Okay. Like I said, you almost have to find your trade partner, and you got to see what that trade partner wants to do if he's going to be part of the deal. Because I'd be willing to bet. And like I said, you guys are going to say, "Oh, that's one of the top weapons," and sure, but Drake London's really good. You had the emergence of a lot of other people on your team. I don't know that you can necessarily get a tight end, that good in the draft. Maybe you can in the later rounds, but you can definitely get another, you know, A or B plus, A minus B plus receiver in the second, third, fourth, fifth round, even, you know? So if you're just looking for somebody to pair with him, because Kyle Pitts is the only tight end that you really throw to for the most part. Yeah, you had another one. You have another one, but for the most part, every time a tight end was in this year, if they weren't throwing to Kyle Pitts, that guy was blocking. If you're just going to go blocking tight ends with the occasional pass here and there, then I would trade Pitts, and I would go with London as my 1. I would draft a 2 or promote somebody up to the 2 and draft another 2 or a 3. That's what I would look at. Um, that's one strategy. I think you don't trade for Fields. I think you trade for the pick. Fields would love to have Pitts. That'll do a lot of good there. Plus, they'll get a couple other picks where they can maybe they need some warm bodies up there. Chicago's almost starting from scratch here. I think they should build around Fields, honestly, because I don't think he likes playing in the South. I think he actually prefers playing in the Midwest. I think he's more suited that way. So That's my first strategy is you don't trade for Fields. You trade for one of those top picks that the Bears got, and you go get Jaden Daniels. I think he fits more of what you want to do. And I think Coach Morris and crew, they're going to want more of that style of quarterback as opposed to Drake May or Caleb Williams. I just, you know, that's kind of where I sit on it. And the other Falcons thing, it's not related to this. The Pitts thing was the next thing I was going to say anyway. Um, the Jeff Okuda contract. They traded what, a third round pick to pick up Jeff Okuda a couple years ago or last year. Was pretty good, but he hasn't really lived up to being the six overall, eight overall, whatever he was. So if you negotiate and he wants a big time contract, I don't see Jeff Okuda sticking around. If he wants to kind of, I don't want to say take a hometown discount because I hate saying that you're like conceding, but if he wants to take a more realistic contract to stay around, I think he could be a piece. He could be your nickel. He can be your two on the corner side. But other than that, Jeff Okuda might not be a Falcon in the fall, guys, and you should. And Kyle Pitts might not be either. And those are two things that you should be willing to accept. Other than that, Falcons fans, like I said, we are going to have some people on here soon, and we are also going to have more strategies. We're going to talk more than just this because there is some things coming up that I think really will affect your Falcons. And when we have a little more time, we're going to get into them. But for now, let's talk some Atlanta United. What has Atlanta United done since the last time we've had a show? Well, they played two games for one. They had the game versus the Tampa Bay Rowdies where they won that one 2-0. Both goals were in the second half. These were two 60-minute halves, which were no. That's what the next game was. This was just a regular one against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Nick Firmino and Jamal Tiari were the goal scorers. Getting those two involved. I know Firmino is backing up Yakamakis, but we might have to see some sort of way to get Nick Firmino and Gigi on the field at the same time. They are both electric and explosive. And Tiari seems to be like, you got to think, once him and Almada and some of these other ones really get in there together and really start to learn how to each other's tendencies. I mean, this is a team that might score 3-4 goals a game. It might be back to those Martinez days from years past. I'm excited. You guys should be excited. The captain's armband for that game went to Brooks Lennon. I think absolutely him or Guzan are the captains. Absolutely. That's who everybody listens to. They lead by example. They are vocal when they need to be. I definitely like that. Cohen started in the first half, and actually Westberg came in the second half. Guzan did not play. Nothing wrong. I don't think he was dinged up or nothing like that. I just think you got 3 or 4 goalkeepers. It's preseason. You got 2 games in a week. You kind of let a couple play. You see how things work out. Maybe Westberg ends up being the backup. Maybe you learn that Cohen should be the starter. I mean, I don't know. I think it should still be Brad, but that's me. That's a different thing for down the road. Noah Cobb and Stian Gregerson, by far, they are holding down the defense. They are making it where Atlanta can play a lot more forward and not be too worried about getting caught too far up. So if there's a counter attack, that there's just nothing you can do coming back. They have, man, just we got to get Noah Cobb some minutes, and Gregerson seems to be the Miles Robinson. I hate saying replacement because you don't replace somebody like that, but Stian Gregerson, he's that guy. He might be one of my new favorites. I liked LGP. I liked Juanjo Parada. Looks like Stian Gregerson's going to be my next favorite player because I'm big on those lines of defense, and he definitely can play the part. But 2-0 over the Rowdies down in Tampa. They also played against Montreal. It's the Montreal Impact, but they renamed themselves. They call themselves something different, like Football Club de Montreal. I don't something. But this was two 60-minute halves, which pretty interesting because straight 60 minutes is a long time. But the two 60-minute halves, it ends up being 2-1 our Atlanta United. They've looked good in the preseason. Um, I'm okay with them conceding the goal because you're not going to always have clean sheets. And this is against Montreal. This is a team, man, they got the speed to be aggressive and they got the talent that can just push the pace and the opponent. You're going to see Montreal probably sneak in as a 6-7 seed and get in the playoffs, and they might wreck somebody in the first round. They might do better than that. Montreal is a team that's kind of been building, but the way they play so like free and loose right now that they're going to be a problem for a lot of people, including our five stripes. Um, like I said, we ended up winning that one 2-1. I thought we looked good. Thought we did everything we needed to. We were trying a few things here and there, but for the most part, it was like trying to get that continuity down, and it seems to be just getting closer and closer to where finally it's going to align. And man, there's going to be some good stuff. There's a closed door match, which is the last one that they're going to have for the preseason. That means that almost nobody is going to be in the building. It's going to be weird, kind of back to the pandemic days, but they do these a lot in soccer and football. Um, but they're going to play against Sporting Kansas City on Saturday. Hopefully you can follow along. I don't know if it's going to be broadcast anywhere, but I'm sure if Doug Robertson from the AJC or um, you know, Jason and Mike in the booth or whoever's there, you can probably listen along. You can probably there's probably some way to follow along. If I find anything concrete that I can bank on, then I will post it to you guys as well. But man, the regular season's coming, guys. Here we are. It's the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day. It's Ash Wednesday. You guys, we just said those things. This Saturday is the 17th. That is that last preseason game. Next Saturday. Is that a Saturday? Let's see. Yep. Next Saturday is the opening game of the regular season, February 24th. That is in Columbus. Last time I checked, they're the defending champs. They're going to play tough. They're going to play hard. They've got some new faces as well, shuffled around. And then the home opener, because our five stripes get a week off. They play an away game against the former champ or against the current champs. Then they get a week off. And then on March the 9th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium versus the New England Revolution as a 7:30 kickoff. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. We are trying to shore up some things. There's a chance. There's a chance we're there for that one. We're going to look into it. And if we are, maybe we'll try to meet up with some of you guys, say hello, maybe try to do some fun things in the stadium, some things I think you guys are going to enjoy. Like I said, we're going to do some fun things this year. Don't know on what capacity or what level, but just stay tuned. Because other than that, we are to the end of the show. But we're to the end of things to talk about. So we'll reconvene next week. We'll talk Atlanta United and we'll talk Atlanta Falcons. But this has been that Atlanta Sports Show. I am Jeremy, the Impact York. Happy Ash Wednesday. See if I can do that right. Can I do it right? There we go. Happy Valentine's Day. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses.